thank you, Dr. Turrell and the Muskingum University Wind Ensemble for that very beautiful and energetic opening to our convocation today. Thank you so much for sharing your gifts with us. Each academic year is a time of new beginnings. It was just 2 years ago that I began my first year at Muskingum. I am now starting as a junior, okay? So I came in as a first year 2 years ago, and I can tell you firsthand what a welcoming and engaging community, excuse me, you will find here in the days ahead. At Muskingum, you will find a place where everyone is united in the common purpose of engaging you, our students, in an education that will inspire you, challenge you, encourage you, and equip you to serve the world. We recognize your talents and your potential. Here, you will learn and grow. You will explore your interests, discover challenging ideas and exciting possibilities, develop strong relationships, and learn about new communities. We are confident that during your years at Muskingum, you will, and later as alumni, you will fulfill the Muskingum tradition of excellence and service, which began with our founding in 1837. Will all of our new students please rise? Welcome to Muskingum, to the class of 2022, and to those who are joining the classes of 2021, 2020, and 2019. Please join me in welcoming our new students to Muskingum. And of course, welcome back to Muskingum to all of our returning students. If you're a returning student, would you stand and be recognized? You may be seated. We are very glad that each of you has chosen Muskingum. In just a few short years, we're going to be celebrating with you again on your graduation day when you take your place in what we call our long magenta line. You will forever be a part of that line of alumni, linked with all who have come before you and all who will come after you in a shared legacy of engaging with and changing the world. But for now, you have an exciting journey ahead of you at Muskingum. Everyone on this campus is here to support and encourage you as our faculty and staff lead you on that journey. Our faculty and staff will teach you, challenge you, advise you, and inspire you to reach your fullest potential and achieve the goals and dreams you have set for yourself. You will come to know them as teachers, scholars, community leaders, and mentors who set an amazing example of both professional and personal excellence. Would all of our Muskingum University faculty and staff please stand and be recognized? I would like to now invite the Reverend Dr. Will Mullins, our university chaplain, to deliver today's invocation.
Friends, let us pray. O Holy One, sacred is the time and blessed is the place you choose to dwell. Be among us now as we begin our journey. One way or another, O Lord, our passage through college begins this day. Give each of us the courage to always search for a better self to be. Render unto us a deeper search for what is beautiful and whole on these hills of learning. Remind us that there is no chance occurrence through which you cannot speak. So speak, O God of truth. Speak to us from sheets of music, and whisper to us from equations. Gladden our eyes to notice a well-placed brushstroke. Call loudly to us, O God, with the voice of poets and prophets, so that we may in time embody their hopes and struggles of being fully human. O God of all speech, knowledge, and thought, bless us as we start this year anew. Amen.
Today's opening convocation address will be given by Mr. Larry Triplett, a member of the Muskingum class of 1980. Immediately after he graduated from Muskingum, Mr. Triplett co-founded Resource Systems, a healthcare software company serving the nursing home industry. He and his business partner, Greg Adams, a member of the Muskingum class of 1981, led the company for 31 years, building it into one of Inc. magazine's fastest-growing companies in the nation. Mr. Triplett's leadership has had a significant impact on economic and business development in our region. He founded and for 10 years served as chairman of the Muskingum County Business Incubator, which helps new businesses expand and create new jobs, and which also has provided internship opportunities for our students, and in some cases, the support to start their own new businesses. He also founded the East Central Ohio Tech Angel Fund, which helps entrepreneurs find funding to help grow their businesses. He is currently the co-owner of Triad Labs, a startup company developing virtual reality experiences for physical therapy rehabilitation. And he's the CEO of Yodel, a calendar app that helps families and communities connect. Mr. Triplett volunteers his time to serve others throughout the community. Here at Muskingum, we are especially grateful for his mentorship of our students, his willingness to connect new generations of Muskies with hands-on learning opportunities, and his commitment to assist us in integrating innovation and impact into all of our educational experiences. We are delighted to welcome Mr. Triplett, his wife Debbie, his nephews and nieces, and look forward to hearing Larry speak with us today. Larry.
Well, thank you, Sue. All right, you new Muskies, congratulations on choosing Muskingum. You have made one of the best decisions you will make in your lifetime. Faculty and staff, how about another round of applause for these freshmen? Now we have some special guests here that Dr. Hasseler already mentioned. My wife, Debbie, is here, who I love very, very much. I'm very proud of her. And we have our two nephews and niece who have been living with us for the past 2 weeks while their parents have been traveling. They're great kids, they're responsible and courteous, and now they're embarrassed that I'm talking about them. But they have upgraded and modernized my vocabulary a little bit. It turns out that neat and neato are words not to be used in the presence of teenagers, especially loudly in public. And it turns out that when something's really cool or awesome, it's said to be lit. Now, in the past, when something was lit, we called the fire department. And finally, bro stands for brother, but it has nothing to do with your sibling. And it's definitely not something that an old white guy should be using at any time. We've been having a blast with them, and secretly, I'm kind of hoping maybe one of them might be here as a Muskie in 4 years. But meanwhile, you incoming students, the next 4 years of your lives, you will be shaped more than you can possibly imagine. True, you're going to learn competencies here and skills here, but I would like to challenge you today by suggesting there are two other attributes that you're going to learn here at Muskingum that are far more important. You see, competencies will get you a job. Creativity will help you excel at that job. And character will give you a rich and meaningful life. So I'm not going to spend too much time on competencies this morning. Those people in the back with the colorful robes, they'll be working with you for the next 4 years, giving you the skills and the knowledge you need. But during the next 10 minutes, I'd like to help you see how Muskingum is going to help you build creativity and character, and how important those are. Now, creativity in this context is simply problem solving. Some people call it innovation, but science tells us that it happens when an idea from one field of expertise intersects with an idea in another field of expertise, which creates a spark, a new idea. Now, many of you students probably are familiar with the apparel brand FUBU. Now, for those faculty and staff that aren't quite as hip as I am now, FUBU is the apparel brand for the inner city hip hop crowd. And under this gown, I'm completely robed with FUBU apparel. But it was founded by a teenager, African American in the Bronx, who learned how to sew when he was 13 years old. A few years after that, he was getting interested in hip-hop apparel, and he bought one of those hip-hop hats for $30. And when he got home and saw his sewing machine, the idea occurred to him he could make one of those hats for less than $2. So that very day, he went out, bought fabric, made 80 of these hats, and the next day sold all of them, which launched the FUBU brand. Well, his interest in hip-hop apparel intersected with his experience in sewing to create this innovation, which is a huge brand worldwide now. Now, his friends used to make fun of him for learning how to sew, but now that he's worth $300 million, they've kind of backed off just a little bit. They're all trying to learn how to sew now. But for every example like that of an innovation, of a creative innovation that creates a company or a brand like that, there are literally thousands of micro innovations occurring every day inside organizations of all kinds, for-profit and not-for-profit, that keep that company growing and relevant. If you are a creative problem solver, you will be promoted and you will go far. So I can see the wheels turning in your head. How does one go about becoming a creative problem solver? Well, let's think it through. If creative ideas occur when multiple expertises are brought together, then it goes to reason that if you have exposure to a lot of different fields of expertise, you will be creative and you will become a creative problem solver. And that's why you're in luck. Because here at Muskingum, over the next 4 years, you're going to take some classes called the General Education and Humanities classes that don't necessarily look like they relate to your major. And I can guarantee you, there will be times that you'll find yourself saying, why am I taking this class? It's not even in my major. It's a waste of time. When you hear yourself say that, hit yourself in the head or have a friend do it for you, and remember the FUBU guy, and remember that multiple fields of expertise are what will make you that creative problem solver. Plus, here at Muskingum, there are dozens and dozens of extracurricular activities that you can get involved in, and regardless of your major. You can be on the TV station or radio station, you can be on the debate team, you can be in a play and not even be a theater major. You can take a leadership role in intramural sports or be part of the residence life. All of those have the same effect of giving that wide, diverse education that will help you excel in your career. So, take this opportunity, embrace the General outside your and get involved in it as you possibly can. And learn to sew. So, competencies will get you a job. Creativity will help you excel at that job. But the most important reason that Muskingum is a great choice for you is that it will help you build character. Now, I know it's probably hard for some of you to believe that an old guy like me can remember. I actually can remember my freshman convocation. I can't remember what I had for breakfast this morning, but I can remember the freshman convocation. And to be honest with you, I was nervous. I was a little scared because I didn't know anyone here. And I was trying to think, how am I going to get to know all these strangers? But over the next 4 years, by the time we graduated, most of those strangers were good friends. The guy who I initially thought was kind of a jerk turned out to be the most respectful and courteous guy you'd ever want to meet. And the girl who I initially pegged as being kind of stuck up turned out to be a wonderful listener and a friend to everyone. And little by little, without us knowing it, imperceptibly, Muskingum was helping us build our character. You see, Muskingum understands that the number one attribute of successful leaders, of successful spouses, of good parents, and of people who make a difference in the world is character. And they understand that the best way to build character is through example. And that's why they fill the faculty staff with people with high quality character. People with good character show up. When they say they're going to do something, they do it and they show up. Character have integrity, which means not only do they tell the truth, but they go out of the way to make sure the truth is crystal clear. No white lies. People with good character have an amazing way to connect with want to do. Just like an athlete lifts weights to build physical muscles, doing things that you don't necessarily want to do builds character muscles. There will be times you don't want to go to class. There will be times you don't necessarily want to work with the person you've been assigned to or follow through with a promise. But when you do that, you're building character muscles. And I think when that happens, when a student does that, I think a little bell should ring in Dr. Hasseler's office so she can smile and say, there's another Muskie on the way to a rich and impactful life. Now, many of you probably know who I mean by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Now, Debbie calls him her boyfriend, and I don't know quite how to take that one. But there are 100 professors here, 100 faculty members, and while they don't have biceps the size of tree trunks, they are the character equivalents of The Rock. And the beautiful thing is you have 4 years to rub elbows with them and be exposed to them and see them as character role models. So my assignment to you is to find a character role model among the faculty. Observe how they show up and how they're responsible. Try to match their caring attitude by caring for others. Try to emulate their warmth by listening to others instead of always talking about yourself. And little by little, over time, people start seeing you as a character role model. And people will start feeling the warmth of God when they're next to you. When Debbie was the editor of several newspapers, her boss was a man named Marty. And Marty seemed to take a special interest in Debbie's career advancement. And while his critiques were not always sugar-coated, they came from a sincere position of caring about her advancement. He was always patient, he was always kind, and Debbie was inspired by him to become a better person because of his character. Well, Marty died in his 50s from leukemia, and at the funeral we heard story after story that were strikingly similar to Debbie's story. And it became evident to us that dozens of people had been inspired to become a better person because of Marty's character. One of the best compliments Debbie can give me is when I do something and she says, "That's something Marty would have done." And it makes me want to do more of it. He's been gone for 5 years and he's still changing the world through his inspiring character. So, New Muskies, over the next 4 years, you have 100 Martys that are rooting for you, that are providing character examples for you, that are secretly adding more and more weights so that you can build your character muscles. So that when you graduate or you come to the end of your life, you will have changed the world by inspiring others through your character. So, New Muskies, good luck in the next 4 years, and may God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Those words were a wonderful way to begin our new year. And I hope that you do remember this address many years from now when you're thinking about your first days at Muskingum. I think they're important lessons to take through your whole life. And we're so grateful, Larry, for your many commitments to Muskingum and all the ways that you have contributed to this institution, to our region, and to the world. So thank you. So the beginning of each academic year at Muskingum also brings the tradition of recognizing faculty excellence. The university presents 3 annual awards to honor distinctive contributions our faculty make to the community through their teaching, scholarship, and service. Please join me in welcoming to the podium now our provost, Dr. Nancy Evangelista, as she tells you more about our faculty members who will be honored today.
Thank you, President Hasseler, and thank you, Larry, for your wonderful words of guidance and wisdom this morning. Good morning, Muskies. Thank you, great. It's my great pleasure to recognize 3 members of the Muskingum University faculty for their outstanding contributions to our community. The first, the William Oxley Thompson Award for Excellence in Teaching, is named for a Muskingum graduate of the class of 1878. He was one of the most renowned educators of his time. He served for nearly 3 decades as a transformational president of no less than the Ohio State University. This year's William Oxley Thompson Award is presented to Dr. Robert Sharp, Associate Professor of Philosophy. Come on up. Dr. Sharp joined the faculty at Muskingum in 2008, and he teaches introductory and advanced courses in philosophy. Now, new students, watch out. If you get a chance to take a course with Dr. Sharp, you're going to find yourself drawn into topics and conversations and discussions that you never imagined you'd be having. You may even find yourself hanging around afterwards to continue debating with your classmates or with Dr. Sharp. Students have been known to change majors or add philosophy as a second major or minor because they can't get enough of the debate and the new ideas in his classes. The faculty at Muskingum have nominated Dr. Sharp in recognition for this teaching award based on the consistently high level of excellence of his teaching and the positive response of students. Congratulations, Dr. Sharp.
Thank you.
The William Rainey Harper Award for Outstanding Scholarship is named for a Muskingum graduate of the class of 1870. He was also a leading scholar and educator of his time, and he became the first president of the University of Chicago. As you drive into New Concord, the little log cabin that's sitting there next to Larry's business address, not far from the Circle K, is actually William Rainey Harper's cabin. He grew up right here in New Concord. This year's William Rainey Harper Award is presented to Dr. Mark Stambush, Associate Professor of Psychology. Dr. Stambush's research investigates how people feel about themselves in different situations. Have you ever been surprised to find out that someone is attracted to you? Did it make you feel better to know that special someone is interested? Or maybe knowing that someone special is interested doesn't feel so special to you? These are the kinds of questions that Dr. Stambush is exploring and investigating, broadening our knowledge base of how people are perceived. Each year, several psychology students work with Dr. Stambush on his research, and they have the opportunity to present as a co-presenter at professional conferences, and some of them have even served as co-authors with him on articles. His research makes an impact on Muskingum students and on our society. These research achievements, again, are the basis for today's award to Dr. Stambush. So, congratulations again, Mark. The Cora I. Orr Faculty Service Award is named in honor of a faculty member and administrator who served Muskingum University with distinction for 4 decades. This year's Cora I. Orr Award is presented to Dr. Shelly Amstutz-Szalay, Associate Professor of Health Science. Dr. Amstutz-Szalay is also the Director of Student Success at Muskingum University. What does it mean to be a Director of Student Success? It means that Dr. Szalay is helping to design more effective tutoring services and then to measure their effectiveness and impact. It means she talks to faculty members, coaches, academic advisors, student affairs educators, everyone who's involved in order to figure out what might be going on with a student who is not being successful and to figure out the best approach to get students back on track. It means she matches students with academic coaches to work one-to-one with students to help them develop personal goals and to consistently use organizational and study skills. She does all this while also serving as the chair of the Department of Health Sciences, and she's an awesome teacher. Therefore, Dr. Amstutz-Szalay is most deserving of the Cora Orr Service Award. Congratulations again, Shelly. Please join me in another round of applause for our 3 outstanding honorees.
And it is now my pleasure to present another award, this time to one of our very deserving students. So each year, the presidents of universities who are members of Campus Compact, which is an international organization that promotes community service and leadership on college campuses, each year presidents are allowed to nominate just one student for the Newman Civic Fellowship Program. And when I learned more about Kayla Wilkerson, I realized that she would be the ideal person to serve as Muskingum's inaugural nominee for this award. Clearly, the reviewers agreed, as Kayla was selected as one of 268 students from institutions in 40 states and 3 countries outside of the US to be named a 2018-19 Newman Civic Fellow. Kayla is a member of the class of 2019, an early childhood and special education major from Houston, Texas, and she began engaging in service and leadership roles literally the minute she came to campus. And she has not stopped moving, I think, since the minute she came to campus. In addition to playing an active role in the Muskie Impact Community Service Program, she served as the Academic Excellence Chair for Theta Phi Alpha, a Muskie Ambassador mentoring ethnically diverse first-year students, a resident assistant, a student financial aid assistant, and a mission tour guide, an assistant preschool teacher, and a student assistant for the education department. As you can imagine, very little free time here, but serving beautifully. She is currently serving as Muskingum Student Senate President. And as a Newman Civic Fellow, Kayla will be working with a mentor. She'll be attending a national leadership conference later this fall with other Newman Civic Fellows from universities across the world as they learn how to connect communities for the betterment of the entire world and the future. We are so proud of Kayla's participation in this program and know that she will continue to make an impact with the knowledge and skills gained as a Newman Civic Fellow. Please join me now in congratulating Kayla Wilkerson on receiving this award. And now Kayla actually has a special welcome message for you on behalf of our Student Senate. Kayla.
Thank you, President Hasseler. Good morning to our faculty, staff, and returning students. To our new Muskies, first years, and transfers, I would like to extend the warmest of welcomes on behalf of the Muskingum University student body. I feel honored and humbled to have this privilege of speaking to you all today. And I believe that's a true testament to the work our administration, faculty, and staff pour into us day in and day out. I can honestly say I wouldn't be half the woman I am now without the many people that have walked and continue to walk this campus today. My hope is that all of our new Muskies will have the same, if not more, transformative experiences that I and many of others have had. 3 years ago, standing here wasn't a reality. In fact, it wasn't even a consideration in my mind. My plan was to go straight to Ohio State. However, that didn't pan out. So I made a new plan, and that was to go to Columbus State and get an associate's degree, which I did, then go to Ohio State, which I didn't do. I guess it's nice when some things don't go according to plan though, right? Regardless of the how I got here, it's the reason why that's important. I'm sure many of you in this room can relate to my reason for coming here. As an individual who grew up with a father as an active duty airman, I don't have one place I call home. That was a problem for me. However, Muskingum became the solution. Maybe the choice to come here was more meaningful because the one friend I've kept since childhood, Sam, showed me this place. Or maybe it was the way her friends welcomed me here with open arms and have supported me up to this point in my journey. Since coming here, I've realized that the Muskie hello is a real thing that we all take pretty seriously. That's just one of the many ways I feel so connected with each person on this campus. I chose Muskingum because of the tight bonds everyone made and will continue to keep past the day we all cross the stage. You don't find that everywhere, and I certainly didn't moving around so much. College can be scary, it can sometimes feel lonely, but it doesn't have to be. Every person in this room is rooting for you, from your admissions counselors down to the person sitting next to you in class. You've all chosen to come here for various reasons, but I'm sure many of us can agree that it's the family that seems to grow and grow each year on this campus that has kept us here. Muskingum is my home, and I have no doubt in time that it'll become yours. I'm so glad you get to be part of our home and our individual stories. Faculty, staff, administration, and returning students, join me in welcoming our new Muskies home.
Thank you, Kayla, for that warm welcome home. As a symbol of Muskingum University's commitment to our students, it's my very great pleasure to begin a new, well, actually an old, tradition of the key of knowledge. More than 100 years ago, a wooden key was passed from a member of the senior class to a member of the incoming class during the opening convocation ceremonies of the early 1900s. Over the years, as times and traditions changed, the custom of presenting the key of knowledge ended. The key became an artifact of Muskingum's history and was relegated to storage in the old library. It was rediscovered several years ago during the library renovations, and now, as part of our welcome to the incoming class of 22 and the opening of the 2018-19 academic year, we're excited to once again begin a tradition of presenting the key of knowledge. This key represents Muskingum University's commitment to provide you, our students, with the knowledge that will be the key to your future. This key will open doors to you based on 3 types of knowledge. First, you'll acquire the knowledge and build the skills you will need to become innovative, creative, problem solvers, and catalysts for change. Second, you'll explore diverse topics. You'll cultivate new interests. You'll understand different perspectives as you go to understand your own purpose. And third, you will learn how to communicate and collaborate with others in order to make your own unique impact on our world. And here it is. The first plaque on here is from 1900. So Kayla, please accept this key of knowledge as a symbol of the commitment of Muskingum University to provide a learning experience of the highest quality, one that will open doors to the future to every student. Thank you, Kayla. The key of knowledge will be on display in the library for the next year as a visual symbol of our commitment to learning.
So as we continue to connect past, present, and future, I would like to invite Dr. Zebulon Highben, Associate Professor of Music and Choral Director, and Ms. Elizabeth Files, a member of the class of 2019, to the podium. They're going to be helping us understand what an alma mater is, as well as leading us in learning the alma mater and singing it together. Dr. Highben and Liz.
The Latin phrase alma mater means nourishing mother. It's a label we use to describe our colleges and universities because of the learning and growth that takes place here. It's also used to describe the primary song or hymn associated with a school, the song that's sung at sporting events, at commencement, convocation, and other campus programs. There are many songs and hymns that have been written about Muskingum University over the decades. Since sometime in the first half of the 20th century, we're not exactly sure when, our official alma mater has been the song All Hail Muskingum. The melody comes from a Christian hymn tune written in the early 18th century by the German musician Friedrich Ferdinand Fleming. The text was written in the late 1920s by Muskingum alum Thomas Randall Berkshire. Thanks to Muskingum history professor Dr. Bill Kerrigan, we know that Berkshire, who was originally from Zanesville, was an English major who wrote for many campus publications, performed with the Muskie Players, and sang with the Choral Society. We're going to take just a moment now to teach you the first stanza of All Hail Muskingum. There are actually 3 stanzas, but like most universities, we only tend to sing the first one. We'll learn the lyrics first. I'll say a phrase and have you repeat it back to me. Here we go. All hail Muskingum, glorious alma mater. Your turn. That was pretty lame, but we'll give you a pass this time. Thy loyal children come to do thee honor. Life more abundant thou to us hast given. Hail, alma mater, hail. Very good. Now I'd like to introduce senior special education and music education major Elizabeth Files, who, with the assistance of Dr. David Turrell and the Wind Ensemble, will perform the alma mater for us. Don't sing this time. Just listen, and then we'll have a chance to do it together. We weren't all gifted with voices as lovely as Liz's voice. Mine certainly is not. But the Alma Mater is a song that belongs to all of us. So we all stand and sing together.
Please remain standing. That's a good sign, by the way. When the music begins in just a moment, the platform party, the people here, are going to process out. And the students, you may file out with us. The faculty will be filing out as well, and you can celebrate together. I'd love to see you just kind of file out, like split in the middle, go to the sides, let the folks in the first row kind of follow us out. Wait a minute. Not quite yet. Get the backpacks ready. Okay, and now it is my privilege to officially begin the academic year, even though you started your classes yesterday, with the following charge. Faculty, staff, students, and honored guests, may the 2018-19 academic year be one of innovation and accomplishment, engagement and service, purpose and joy. Faculty and staff, may our shared sense of community, dedication, and collegiality shape each and every day as together we educate, inspire, encourage, and support all of these students. Students, may you engage, explore, and expand your worlds in ways you never imagined. Let the 2018-19 academic year begin, and may it be an excellent year for everyone here in this room today and everyone on the campus. Thank you.